At some point, you might look in the mirror and wonder, is this it? Is the best already behind me? The truth is, many people feel this way after 60. Life starts to feel smaller, quieter, even invisible. But something powerful happens when you realize it's not too late. Not too late to change, to grow, to find meaning again. These years can be your most liberated, most intentional, and even your most joyful, if you understand a few key truths. Because when perspective shifts, everything else begins to shift too. And what once felt like the end becomes a beginning. If this message speaks to your heart, take a moment to subscribe and tap the bell. Leave a comment below, even just one word, so we know you're here. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And we're here to help you live the next chapter with strength, clarity, and hope. Many seniors feel like they've missed their window. That life has already played out its best chapters, and now they're just meant to watch the ending unfold. But this belief is not only limiting, it's false. People in their 60s, 70s, and 80s often have 20 to 30 more years ahead of them. That is not the end. That is time. That is potential. That is life. Some gerontologists emphasize that what limits many older adults is not biology, but belief. The idea that it's too late to try something new. But research in cognitive aging shows that the brain remains capable of learning, adapting, and forming new connections well into later years. New skills, relationships, or careers are not reserved for the young. They are entirely possible with willingness and consistent effort. The only real expiration date is the one created by giving up on growth. Thousands of people have moved to a new city, started small businesses, or entered romantic relationships after the age of 65. Some medical studies have linked purposeful activity and life changes after retirement with lower risks of depression, improved sleep, and even reduced inflammation. When the mind feels hopeful and engaged, the body often responds with energy. The drive to evolve, to change one's circumstances, is tied to vitality at any age. Some doctors also point out that regret becomes more toxic when it's left unresolved. Seniors who feel they should have done something often find that simply trying now brings a surprising sense of peace. The past cannot be changed, but the future can be shaped, even in small ways. And those small steps, taking a class, reaching out to someone, making a move, often lead to renewed confidence and joy. Living beyond 60 does not mean living small. It means you've earned the right to write the next chapter with your own pen. The window never truly closes. Sometimes it just shifts to a better view. This is not the end of the story. It's a second beginning, and realizing that may be the most freeing decision of all. It's common to believe that aging is what slows you down. But often it's decades of habits that do that, not the number on your birthday cake. Some doctors point out that what many assume are signs of age, fatigue, stiffness, or weakness, can actually stem from years of small lifestyle patterns that build up silently over time. Skipping movement, poor sleep routines, long-term stress, or sitting too much can gradually wear down the body's strength and energy. The good news is, the body never stops responding to better care. Research continues to show that seniors who make even small changes to their daily habits, like walking more, stretching gently, or getting consistent rest, can see surprising improvements. At 70 or 80, some people regain flexibility, balance, and vitality they hadn't felt in years. This shift in thinking encourages a new approach. Aging isn't just something that happens to you, it's something you can influence. Changing long-held habits isn't always easy, but it's one of the clearest ways to support a more active, mobile, and vibrant life, regardless of the date on the calendar. People over 60 often dismiss loneliness as just a quiet evening, but chronic loneliness is now understood to be a serious health risk. Medical researchers have found that the ongoing absence of meaningful social interaction can raise the likelihood of heart disease, worsen symptoms of depression, and even accelerate memory decline. According to some studies, loneliness affects the body in ways similar to long-term stress, raising inflammation, blood pressure, and disrupting sleep patterns, which in turn harms the immune system. Doctors warn that when seniors spend long periods without conversation, companionship, or shared activities, it can subtly chip away at both mental and physical well-being. Some neurologists have linked isolation to a faster onset of dementia, especially in individuals who already face cognitive risk factors. And while many seniors believe that watching television or reading alone fills the gap, experts explain that passive activities don't activate the same emotional and neurological pathways as human connection does. But there is good news. Studies show that even modest social interaction, like chatting regularly with neighbors, participating in a group hobby, or attending community events, can help protect the brain and heart. These connections can lift mood, stimulate memory, and provide a sense of purpose. Some retirement communities, libraries, and even clinics now offer social programs not as entertainment, but as preventive care, understanding that social connection is just as crucial as balanced nutrition or daily walks is often the turning point. It's not about having dozens of friends. Even one or two trusted companions can make a meaningful difference. Rebuilding community might begin with a phone call, joining a local group, or volunteering a few hours a week. When seniors take that first small step, the benefits reach deeper than expected, into the heart, the brain, and the everyday joy of being known. By the time we're in our 60s or beyond, we've collected our share of betrayals and regrets. But hanging on to anger can quietly poison the body and mind. Realizing that forgiveness is a gift to yourself, not approval of the other person, can bring peace that doctors and medicine never could. Chronic anger has been shown to raise stress hormones like cortisol, which over time can increase the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, and even weaken the immune system. According to mental health researchers, bitterness and resentment are strongly linked to higher levels of anxiety and depression in older adults. Holding on to pain may feel like a form of protection, but in truth, it creates more damage than the original wound. Some doctors warn that emotional tension left unresolved can physically settle into the body, showing up as fatigue, chronic inflammation, or sleep disturbances. Forgiveness, on the other hand, doesn't mean forgetting or excusing harm. It's an intentional decision to release yourself from the grip of the hurt. It's a quiet act of freedom. Studies in aging populations have shown that those who practice forgiveness report better sleep, fewer depressive symptoms, and stronger social ties. In many cases, this emotional healing supports healthier blood pressure and lower stress levels. Even the Mayo Clinic highlights forgiveness as a tool to improve overall well-being, reduce the risk of substance abuse, and strengthen relationships. Forgiveness isn't always fast or easy. It may take time and reflection, but it shifts the focus away from the past and toward the present, where healing lives. And for many seniors, it becomes one of the most powerful forms of self-care, not because it changes what happened, but because it changes what happens next. The peace it brings is quiet, but real, and it's the kind of peace that no pill can give. We often think the story is written by this age, but many people do their most meaningful work in their later years. There are countless examples of individuals who only found their true calling after retirement or who made their greatest contributions when they were well into their 60s, 70s, or beyond. Some researchers describe this period as a second curve, where life opens up in unexpected ways. Instead of winding down, this phase becomes a time of growth, purpose, and impact. Doctors and gerontologists often note that older adults experience a surprising surge in mental clarity, emotional Intelligence and creative insight. Freed from earlier distractions or career pressures, they begin to focus on what truly matters. It's not uncommon for someone in their later years to start mentoring others, writing books, launching community projects, or simply deepening the relationships that define their lives. This stage can become more than just reflective. It can be active, fulfilling, and deeply meaningful. Studies in positive aging emphasize that believing in your continued potential changes everything. That belief affects health, motivation, and even longevity. When older adults see themselves as still capable of learning, giving, and growing, their brain adapts accordingly. The story doesn't end when work ends, or when the children move away, or when the calendar says retired. For many, that's exactly when the real story begins. Realizing that you're still growing, still discovering, still shaping your legacy can turn what feels like the end into a brand new beginning. It reframes aging not as a loss, but as a gain, in wisdom, perspective, and freedom. The sense of purpose doesn't disappear with age. It evolves. And when it's embraced, it can make these years the most powerful chapter yet.